We were waiting and waiting and waiting for this. Hello, hopeful patriots. My name is Kelly Jackson, and welcome to my channel. I am still not canceled, where we question everything, especially the narrative. This is just going to be a really quick little broadcast. I just wanted to share something that I find very exciting. Today, President Trump, we were waiting and waiting and waiting for this. Today, President Trump endorsed Ken Paxton for the Texas Senate race against big fat rhino John Cornyn. And I wanted to just share some of the stuff in X that is giving me so much joy. First of all, let's read the statement from the president. The highly respected Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, an American first patriot and someone who has always been extremely loyal to me in our amazing MAGA movement, is running for the United States Senate to represent a place I love and won big 3 times with 6.4 million votes in 2024, the most votes in the history of the state by far. I don't know how true that is, but it's President Trump, so of course he's going to say that. I know Ken well, have seen him tested at the highest and most difficult levels, and he is a winner. Ken is a strong supporter of terminating the filibuster and, very importantly, the Save America Act, something which polls at 87%, including Democrats, and yet can't seem to get approved. Perhaps Ken can help move these important elements of government forward, because with the filibuster as an example, the Democrats will terminate it on their first day in office, giving us 2 extra states, DC and Puerto Rico, and a greatly enlarged Supreme Court of the United States. That is definitely true. They want to stack the court because they're very, very unhappy with all of the wins that we have gotten in the Supreme Court since President Trump got Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Amy Coney Barrett. As disappointing as Amy Coney Barrett has been to me personally, she has not come down on the right side, I feel, of the Constitution as often as I would have liked to have seen her do. But since engaging them with the court and getting them past the hurdles and getting them on the Supreme Court, we have had win after win after win, and it's been pretty historic. But they are planning to stack the court, and a greatly enlarged Supreme Court, probably going with their dream number of 21 justices from the 9 that we currently have. And these new justices will be radical left lunatics. 2 years ago, our country was dead. Now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, and I want to keep it that way. Ken Paxton will help me do that, making America bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. And he goes on and on and on and on and talks about Ken, but he says about Cornyn is a good man. No, he's not. No, he's not. I mean, I love you, President Trump, but Cornyn is not a good man. And he worked well with him, but he's not supportive of me when times were tough. And despite having the most successful economy in the history of our country during my first term, and with all of the many other things that I accomplished, secure border, military dominance, Space Force, blah, 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 the list goes on, which are considered by many to be legendary, John was very late in backing me in what turned out to be a historic run for the Republican nomination, and then the presidency itself, both of which were landslide victories. So it's President Trump. It's everything's big. Everything is huge. Everything is the best. Everything is the most. Everything is the biggest in the history of fill in the blank. So I think that's great. But what I really wanted you to see, and this was just, super fun, super fun to show you. I want to show you this. Look how sour-faced.
Trying to persuade the president to endorse John Cornyn in the Texas primary, and given that the NRSC has invested heavily to help Cornyn win that primary, how personally disappointed or frustrated are you with the president's decision to endorse Ken Paxton?
Look at his face.
Well, I think you all know my position on this issue. I've made it very clear for months now. And Senator Cornyn is a principled conservative. He is a very effective senator for the state of Texas. And but none of us control what the president does. He made his decision about that. That doesn't change the way I feel I am certainly supportive of, will continue to be supportive of Senator Cornyn and his reelection.
How much harder has he made it to keep the majority? How much harder has the president's decision here made it for you? It's your number one job to keep the Republican majority, given your concerns about Ken Paxton's viability as a candidate.
We look at, lots of races around the country, and the majority runs through a lot of different states. We have 24 seats up this time. The Democrats have only 9, so we've got a lot more ground to defend. We also have a couple of offensive opportunities. So, one state doesn't determine the outcome of this election, but obviously we care about every state, and we care about helping see our incumbents succeed. That being said, I feel very good about where we are. As I've said before, I think when it comes to winning elections, it starts with quality candidates. Then you got to have a record of accomplishment to run on. You've got to have resources to get that message out, tell that story to the American people. Mm-hmm. And then you've got to have a really substantial effort to get out the vote, a ground game. And I feel confident in all those elements in all the key states where we're going to have competitive elections this year. And I'm very confident we'll hang on and maybe even expand the majority of the United States Senate, which is counter, I know, to the, sort of the narrative these days. But the truth of the matter is we've got the right candidates in the right places at the right time. And with the right resources, we're going to win some.
Oh my gosh. I mean, look at his sour face. Look at how sad he looks. The thing about John Thune is that I remember when my parents used to live in South Dakota. They lived in Rapid City. And I remember when John Thune ran against Tom Daschle and how excited everyone was. John Thune, the thought then was John Thune was going to run for president. That was before we really understood the depth of rhino-ness of our Republican Party. We kind of always knew, but we really didn't have anything. We knew there was a better standard out there, but until President Trump came along and actually demonstrated it for people, and for decades and decades, the Republicans just kept voting for these guys and kept voting for these guys. And they were making promise after promise after promise. And they never followed through with any of the things that they were saying. What would happen is, oh, yes. And they'd say things that sounded good. Oh, sounds conservative, and they're going to do it. They're telling us they're going to do it. And then we give them our vote. And then what do? They come back to us after they get it and they've maybe won the election. They go, you know what, you guys, gosh, I'm so sorry. It just doesn't work that way. Sorry. SOL. And there we were. So it's decades of that. And as a California native, decades and decades of it. And so, the fact that the NRSC endorsed John Cornyn should be all anybody needs to know. That is just, it's almost obscene. And so if you give to the NRSC, why are you giving to the NRSC? Stop now. We need the Save America Act to pass. We need it. I'm so glad that he did endorse. We were worried about it. He's going to get involved in races like this. I would prefer almost that the president not get involved. I've said that before. I like it when states have the ability for the people uninfluenced to be able to check into their candidates and actually make the choice that best reflects their values without the president weighing in. I'll just tell you, in our D7 race here, I didn't support Matt Van Epps. He was the establishment candidate, just plain and simple. I supported Jody Barrett, but they spent $2 million in smear campaign ads against Jody Barrett. He was the grassroots conservative, not Matt Van Epps. And from what I understand, there was a conversation had with the president, and they asked him, what the heck did you do that for? And he says, what are you talking about? I thought I endorsed your guy. No, you didn't. And that goes down to him listening to the wrong people. But in this case, this is the right candidate. He was listening to the right people. Thank goodness. And it looks like, even based on some of the polls that were coming out before the president endorsed Ken Paxton, Cornyn was not doing well anyway. And if he won, it would have just been because of the gobs and gobs and gobs of money from the National Republican Senate committee. So anyway, good news today. The president endorsed Ken Paxton. I really think Ken Paxton is going to get in there and be a real leader amongst senators. And I'm looking forward to watching this play out. And I'm looking forward to him possibly having a little bit more influence on the president than some of the people in the president's circle that are clearly not giving him great advice at times. So I trust the president in this case. You know I've had some friends that have recently said, I'm not sure. I don't know. What is he doing? Hey, this is proof right here that he knows what he's doing and he has a plan. And this was a great endorsement. And so I'm very happy about it. I have had some other friends say, well, the rest of the year, his agenda is dead because there's no, Cassidy is out. And then if Cornyn loses, then there's no incentive for them to help the president with his agenda for the rest of the year. I don't know. That could possibly be true. But what we really need to focus on is the next 2 years and getting as much done as we possibly can. So thanks for popping into this quick one. I mean, I guess quick for me, it's almost 11 minutes. So thank you again, Hopeful Patriots. My name is Kelly Jackson, and here at Still Not Canceled, we question everything, especially the narrative. Love you guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.